14 centuries ago, in the deserts of Arabia, a man named Muhammad, may peace unto him, began to receive words unlike any ever heard before. These words came not from poets nor from philosophers, but from the Creator of the heavens and the earth. This revelation, the Qur'an, descended gradually over 23 years, and while it was written down on parchment, bones, and leaves, its true preservation lay not in ink and paper, it lay in the hearts and minds of people. From the very beginning, the Prophet Muhammad encouraged his companions to memorize every verse revealed to him. As soon as a portion of the Qur'an was recited, his followers would commit it to memory. Among them were men, women, the young, the old, farmers, traders, warriors, and slaves. They did not rely on libraries or printing presses. Instead, they relied on the power of the human mind and the discipline of oral tradition. This culture of memorization was not new to the Arabs. Poetry was their lifeblood, their entertainment, their history. They could recite hundreds of lines of poetry word for word, passing them on for generations without error. So when the Qur'an was revealed, it was received in a culture already trained to memorize. But the Qur'an was no ordinary recitation. Its rhythm, its eloquence, and its divine power made it unforgettable. Many companions described the Qur'an as something that penetrated the heart and flowed from the tongue. Day and night, the Qur'an was recited aloud in homes, in markets, in gatherings, and in the Prophet's mosque. A verse revealed in the morning could be on the tongues of hundreds by evening. Children learned it from their parents. Friends tested one another. The entire community became living vessels of the revelation. One of the most remarkable aspects of this tradition was the institution of the ḥuffāẓ, those who memorized the Qur'an in its entirety. Even during the Prophet's lifetime, there were dozens of people who carried all of the Qur'an in their hearts. Names like Ubay ibn Ka'b, Zayd ibn Thābit, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, and Abu Hurairah stand out among many. And the Prophet himself would review the entire Qur'an with the angel Jibril every year in Ramadan, and in the final year of his life, he reviewed it twice. This practice ensured that not a single word was lost, misplaced, or altered. After the Prophet's passing, the tradition continued with even greater intensity. During the Caliphate of Abu Bakr, a fierce battle at Yamama led to the martyrdom of many memorizers of the Qur'an. This raised concerns. What if too many ḥuffāẓ were lost in war? Acting with foresight, Abu Bakr, along with Umar, commissioned Zayd ibn Thābit to collect the written fragments of the Qur'an and compile them into a single manuscript. But even then, the written text was only a safeguard. The living chain of memorizers remained the primary guarantee of preservation. Generations after generations, Muslims carried the Qur'an in their hearts. A young child in Damascus, a merchant in Baghdad, a scholar in Cairo, a farmer in Andalusia, a traveler in Timbuktu, wherever Islam spread, the Qur'an was memorized. It crossed oceans not on paper, but in memory. Long before the printing press, long before audio recordings, the Qur'an lived in voices, in recitations passed from teacher to student in an unbroken chain. What makes this preservation even more astonishing is the sheer number of memorizers. Today, in every corner of the world, millions of Muslims, men, women, and children, have memorized the Qur'an cover to cover. In fact, there is no other book on earth that has been preserved this way. A child as young as 7 in Indonesia, or a grandfather in Nigeria, can recite the same verses, word for word, letter for letter, as they were recited by the Prophet himself 1400 years ago. And it is not just the words that are preserved. The style of recitation, the pronunciation, the pauses, even the melodies, these too have been passed down. Known as the science of tajweed, it ensures that the Qur'an is not only remembered, but recited exactly as it was revealed. If someone makes even a tiny mistake in recitation, it is instantly recognized and corrected. This collective guardianship makes distortion impossible. Think about it. Other scriptures have been lost, altered, or corrupted over time. Languages have changed, manuscripts have been edited, and meanings have been lost. But the Qur'an is unique. Its preservation is not dependent on one man or one library, but on an entire community across centuries and continents. It is both written and memorized, but above all it is lived. And so the Qur'an that is recited today in the mosques of Mecca, Medina, and Jerusalem is the exact same Qur'an recited in London, Lagos, Jakarta, and New York. No differences, no missing verses, no forgotten chapters. The oral tradition, millions of human voices echoing through time, has ensured that the Qur'an was never lost. This is not just preservation, it is a miracle. a miracle promised by God himself in the Qur'an. Indeed, it is we who have sent down the reminder, and indeed we will be its guardian. And 14 centuries later, the proof is living, it is breathing, it is on the tongues of millions and in the hearts of countless believers. The Qur'an lives on, not as a relic of the past, but as a vibrant, recited, memorized, and cherished word of God that will never be lost.